So you have the problem that many JK and JLU owners have. You don't want to install a sub into the back of your Jeep, but you want to keep all of your storage space. Well, today we have the solution for you. Hey everybody, Mike here from Trail 7. We have an exciting day today. We're here to show you how to install this speaker sub into the back of your four-door Wrangler and retain all of your storage space. We hear it all the time. It's a common problem. People want to install a system, you want to install a sub, but you don't know where to put it because in the JL or JK in the back there, you have limited space without having to jeopardize taking up your storage space. So we have SSV Works sub box. This holds a 10-inch subwoofer. It's a very solid box. This fits over the driver's side wheel well up along the side there, just like the OEM sub does on the passenger side, but this fits on the driver's side and this keeps all of your storage space. It's a very simple install. We have a couple of different subs that we'll be able to show how this is going to mount in here. Your sub enclosure will come from Trail 7 pre-mounted with the sub that you choose inside of it. We're going to attach the speaker wire for you so you can run this to your amp. The only thing that you need to do on your side is install the bracket and install it in the Jeep. The couple of very simple, easy tools. You need an 18mm socket and you need a T30 Torx. You can get this installed to your Jeep and have a booming sub box in the back without taking up any of your space. So what Jeeps this is going to fit into is any four-door Wrangler, Jeep JK or Jeep JL, and it'll be the JK years 07 to 18 and the JL years 18 to 23. So JK or JL, this is what this is meant for, and today we're going to show you how to install this into our 2021 JLU four-door Wrangler. When this comes from us, you're going to have a couple of different options for your sub. You can either get it mounted with the SSV Works sub, have it mounted with the Kicker sub, or have it mounted with the Alpine sub. Our website will show a couple of the differences of each one has to offer for you. So now let's go ahead and get the brackets mounted on the sub box. Very easy. There's two brackets to mount. One bracket is going to mount onto the back of here, and there's 4 screws that are provided. And the other bracket is going to mount on the bottom here, and there are 3 screws provided. So let's go ahead and get those in for you. All right, now as I said, you just need the T30 Torx bit to screw these bolts in. So let's go ahead and get our 4. And I wouldn't screw them down all the way, just kind of put them in there. You'll want to tighten them down later on once you get inside the Jeep. You notice this bracket can slide up and down so you can adjust for the side rail on there, which again I'll show you once we get inside there. All right, now that is again on there loosely. We'll tighten that down once we get in there. Let's go ahead and get our second bottom bracket installed now. Now this bracket's going to mount right on the bottom piece like this, and this portion here with this screw hole is going to be towards the bottom. This is what's going to mount to the seat bench bolt. These you can tighten down because these aren't going to come back out again. So now that the brackets are installed onto the sub box is fully prepped, ready to install. As I mentioned, and when it comes from us, it will have the sub mounted inside of it. Whether you choose the SSV Works sub, the Kicker sub, or the Alpine sub, it'll be mounted inside of there. In addition, as I said, it will be plug and play. So we'll have the speaker wire that's connected to the sub. You can run this to any amp location that you have, whether you have the amp under your driver's seat or if you have the amp under your passenger seat. So with that said, let's go ahead and get this thing installed in the Jeep to show you how easy this is to install. All right, everybody, we're in the back of the JLU. This is a JL. This sub also does fit, as I mentioned, into the back of a JK. Very similar install. There's one bolt here for it to mount onto and onto the sill here as well. However, we are on the JLU, so we're going to show you how to get this installed. What we're going to do first is remove this panel here. There's the 18mm bolt that's in the back of the seat bench that's sitting right here. We need to access that bolt, so we need to remove this panel. So you're going to grab your panel removal tool and you're going to go underneath this lip right here. There are these little metal clips that are clipped into this piece running across here. You can just grab this and pull it up. However, you'll probably break something or cause some damage. So I'd recommend panel removal tool and just go underneath here, and you can kind of feel where it's clipped into, and it'll pop those off individually. So let's go ahead and do that. Now that this is out, let's go ahead and set this aside. All right, now here's the 18mm bolt that we want to remove. This is what's going to hold on to the bracket here. This is what's going to fasten this bracket down. So let's go ahead and get that out. All right, now the panel has been removed, the bolt has been removed. We're ready to go ahead and set the sub. Now I want to point something out here. The Jeep that we're in has the one-touch top, right? Which means the side panels here are a little bit different. If you don't have the one-touch top, you can have two bolts that sit right into here. You're gonna have to remove those bolts first and then set this bracket in. So we'll go ahead and show you how that sets if you didn't have the one-touch top. Then I'll show you, since we have the one-touch top, what the workaround is with having to remove this panel. So again, if you don't have the one-touch top, you will have two bolts that come out from here. With the T30 Torx bit, those bolts are going to come right out. As I mentioned on the table earlier, you don't want to screw these down all the way until you get it set in the Jeep because of that. If you have the Jeep without the one-touch top, this bracket, you want to have it all the way up on top. So go ahead and slide it all the way up. Just go ahead and tighten that down. And let's go ahead and set this into place. So just like that. So again, if you have the regular top, the regular hard top, those two bolts will have been removed. So there's the one bolt up front here. There's the one bolt in the back here. Go ahead and install those two bolts. And then let's put our 18mm back on. And that would wrap up that install as far as the sub box. Let me go ahead and show you what that would look like now removing this panel, and then we'll button everything up together. But at least let me show you, if you do have the one-touch top and remove the panel, how this is going to sandwich in between the panel and the Jeep tub rail here. If you have the one-touch, you're going to want to loosen these bolts. You're going to want this bracket all the way down. So loosen these. Put the bracket all the way down. Tighten these down. Now let me go ahead and get the panel removed. You're already taking the panel out. This is lever here. There's also a lever here in the back. Let me go ahead and get outside. Let me take this panel out, and we'll get this installed underneath the panel sill here and on top of the trim panel. All right, let's go ahead and get this panel removed. Our panel is removed. Our bolt post is exposed. Let's go ahead and get this installed. Now this isn't going to screw into anything. Again, this is going to sandwich in between the panel. And if you have a regular hard top, it's going to go on top of it, which I'll show you again once I get back inside the Jeep. So let's go ahead and put our bolt in. Let's go get our panel, and we're going to put our panel back in here, and that's just going to sandwich this bracket into place, and this thing is solid. It's already solid. It's not going anywhere. It's a very large bolt holding it in. Brackets are very firmly mounted to the box itself. Let's get the panel back in. The panel has been installed, so if you have the one-touch top, this is the solution to that. It's going to sandwich in between the panel and the trim of the Jeep. If you have the regular hard top, this bracket's going to mount on top. You're going to remove the screws on each side of the hole here. You're going to reinstall the screws, and that's going to hold it in. With that panel sandwiching the bracket here, this is solid. I mean, this is not moving anywhere. It's a large bolt holding it here, very solid box. Let's go ahead and get our panel put back in. I'll mention that these metal clips, when you take this piece out of here, these metal clips have these little teeth on it. And these little teeth will pop out. You may need to take the panel removal tool or a screwdriver and push the metal teeth back in so the grooves of the clip will slide back into the clip here. So I have a couple that popped out, so I'm going to go ahead and push those back in. All right, all of the little sharp teeth have been pushed back in. Now we go ahead and take our panel and just press them back into the clips. So now once you push this down all the way, once you notice on this side, it's not going to clip down all the way on this side because the bracket is kind of sticking up from here, right? So that clip isn't going to go in. I mean, it's fine. It's secured all the way elsewhere. Thing's not going anywhere, so you're fine. The great thing about it is, I mean, here's case in point. The sub is installed, and you obviously have all of your storage space, all of your cargo area. You didn't reduce that. You didn't take up any space at all. This box also fits into the JK. Very similar install as we did here in the JL. And as I said earlier, this box will come completely plug and play from Trail 7, whether you opt for the SSV Works sub, the Kicker sub, or the Alpine sub. We're going to mount the sub in the box for you, so as you see it is how you'll get it. We'll also include the speaker wire attached to the sub box. Now if you have your amplifier mounted underneath your driver's side seat, this is plenty of wire to reach. If you have your amplifier mounted underneath your passenger seat, this is also plenty of wire to reach. You'll of course want to route this along the trim here and along the side of the trim panel to your passenger side, or along the trim panel that side to the driver's side. But as far as the sub installs, this is a great solution to being able to retain all of your Jeep cargo area without sacrificing any space whatsoever, and by getting great sound. And this thing absolutely sounds phenomenal. It's a very sturdy, strong box. So if you're interested in adding this into any one of our amp kits, please visit us at www.trail7.com. And until next time, we'll see you out there.